Francis Ngannou is once again the king of MMA, and Anthony Hernandez won his fight exactly as planned, and then some more. We're going to talk about it. Don't forget to like and subscribe as we check out this beautiful scenery in the background. Just strolling around in the neighborhood. I figured I'd go stop at a park and discuss Francis Ngannou as the linear heavyweight champion of the entire world of mixed martial arts. That also includes the UFC. And what is exactly at stake here for the UFC? In other words, the UFC right now does not have the best heavyweight in the world. And there's a lot of questions with Jon Jones. There's a lot of questions even with Tom Aspinall, who many perceive him as the linear champion more than Jon Jones, based on the activity alone, based on the fact that he's a real heavyweight, based on the fact that Jon only has one heavyweight fight in his whole entire resume. And that's now going to include an even bigger question mark at the end of his career with Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic. Obviously he's going to get, but also Jon Jones is not going to get Francis Ngannou, and he's not going to get Tom Aspinall if he does follow through with the definitive decision of retiring after the Stipe fight, which is next month in November. Well, here we are in the middle of October. By the way, beautiful weather out here in California, still in October. The most now around 70s or 80s, still in the 80s, and maybe in some days the 90s, at least a couple of weeks ago. But nonetheless, I was able to witness fights in California time zones in the morning, and that includes British boxing over the years, all the overseas UFC cards, and this particular time, the afternoon card of Francis Ngannou versus Renan Ferreira. Going into the fight, you had Renan Ferreira where you're thinking to yourself, you know what? There's a chance Francis Ngannou got knocked out. And by the way, we're going to get to the tragedy that he had faced, having a son pass away while getting into the Anthony Joshua fight, getting knocked out, but also doing great in the Tyson Fury fight, only to come back and get this done. What does this tell you? Well, what this tells you ultimately is that in the world of mixed martial arts, in the world of prize fighting, and in the world of just basically real life scenarios and real sports, there is no fairy tale. So as such, what you got out of this whole entire situation was Francis Ngannou back once again, solidifying himself as the number one recognized undisputed champion of the world, now doing it in multiple weight classes. And by the way, shout out to Cyborg getting that win over Pacheco, being that she had won, what is it, like her fifth promotional world title. And here comes Francis Ngannou doing the same thing on the same card, and that was all that she wrote. So how did this fight go about? Being that now we are recognizing Francis Ngannou as the number one heavyweight in the world, understand this, right? We should have never slept on his wrestling. His wrestling was always there. It showed. And as a result, guess what? He was able to take him down. And just as I had predicted, I said that one of the things Ferreira needs to watch out for is the wrestling prowess of Francis Ngannou. Now, did Ferreira have enough wrestling to stop Francis Ngannou? Apparently not. Now, obviously, Francis trains in Randy Couture, and by the way, that gym is notorious for constant wrestling drills, and as you would imagine, it's something that he worked on a lot after the Stipe fight. Well, here it is. Now he came back into MMA, did great in boxing, had one bad fight in boxing, but in reality, he's the mixed martial arts heavyweight champion of the world, and he showed it. So, speaking of which, let's go to Anthony Hernandez, right? Exactly as how I planned. Now, the way that he fought, it's very in your face, and not only that, the up and down motion that he was giving towards Pereira was very taxing on the body of Pereira, because now you got to watch out, you got to move up and down, you got to do constant feints, you got to try to keep up with this guy, and the anticipation of it is basically firing up your own central nervous system, which entail is just making him a lot more tired and a lot more vulnerable to strikes. And then on top of the fact that he mixed up the strikes, I'm talking about Anthony Hernandez with pitter-patter shots and then some harder shots as he's moving forward. And those moving forward motions lended itself well to the close range clinches, to which was in the favor of Anthony Hernandez. But in the end, surprisingly, he was able to finish him way quicker than what I would have anticipated, honestly. But that was all that she wrote. It was as a result of his constant pace and motion that really debilitated Pereira and kept him away from his elusive game that he normally would do. And that's the end of it. And what is next for Francis Ngannou, who knows? But all we can do is talk about that in the next subject, in the next matter of time. But for now, you got no choice but to recognize he is the #1 heavyweight in MMA, if not all of combat sports, at least from an exciting factor all over combat sports, and not so much in boxing, but in MMA, he's #1, and there's not a thing that you can do right now to take it from him unless you bring certain competition to him. Now, what kind of competition will PFL leave him? Who knows? Maybe they got to pull something out of the Bellator roster of some sort, or maybe sign new people from other organizations. But whatever it is, and wherever it goes, and whatever's going to happen, he's the best heavyweight in the world right now, recognized as the undisputed linear heavyweight champion of mixed martial arts, all away from UFC, mind you, which is mind-blowing in and of itself. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you guys in the next subject to come. So like and subscribe, inshallah.